Along those same lines, let's take a look at the unemployment rate. We'll take a look at the next chart and we'll see changes in the jobless rate. The biggest positive changes in the jobless rate during economic expansions. And the jobless rate did tick up a bit in September from 4.3% to 4.4%. It's now up by 1 full percentage point since it bottomed in the cycle in 2023. And that's now the second biggest increase in an expansion in history. These numbers go back to the 1940s. We've only had one other increase in the unemployment rate this large within an economic expansion, and that was in the early 1990s. That was the jobless recovery of the early 1990s when, after the recession ended in 1991, unemployment continued to rise until mid 1992, up by 1.1 percentage points overall at that time. Other than that, we've never had an increase this large in an economic expansion. But if you look at this chart and take a look at the dates on the x-axis here, you can see that these periods in which the unemployment rate rose during economic expansions were all either in the early stages, the very early stages of recoveries, or all in the very late stages right before recessions took hold. 1991, 92, obviously right after a recession. 1959, right before a recession, the recession that came in 1960. 2001 to 2003, right after the 2001 recession. 1979, 1980, right before the 1980 recession and the double dip with another recession in 1981. 1948, right before the 1948-1949 recession. 1957, right before the 1957 to 58 recession. And then 2007, of course, right before the global financial crisis, right before the '07 to '09 recession. So the point is that these increases don't happen in the middle of a cycle. We don't see increases like this. We haven't seen increases like this. We didn't see increases like this in the mid 1980s, for example, in the middle of a long expansion. We didn't see increases like this in the middle of the 1990s, the middle of a long expansion. They only come at the very beginning or at the very end of expansions. Well, we're not at the very beginning. This cycle began in 2020. The recession ended in April of 2020, more than 5 years ago now at this point. So the risk is, again, that not only might the labor market be heading for an outright downturn, if it's not in an outright downturn already, but we could very well be heading for an overall downturn in the economy at large.
To watch this month's complete analysis and receive daily updates directly to your inbox, become a member at cycleframework.com.